Hi, I'm Father Jim Martin. I'm a Jesuit priest and author of the new book, Jesus, a Pilgrimage. Here are the top 10 things you have to know about Jesus. Number 1, Jesus really was human. That's right, not just God pretending to be a human being, but a real-life, flesh and blood man who was born a little baby, had to be fed and burped when he was young. When he grew up, he wondered about things and asked questions of his family. During his public ministry, he had friends. He grew sad and was joyful. He was fully human. Second, Jesus really was divine. A lot of people like to set that aside and say, well, he was just a really wise teacher or the most compassionate man who ever lived, but he was fully divine. Through him, divine power flowed. He healed the sick, walked on water, and raised people from the dead. It's hard for some people to accept this, but as you'll find out in this book, without the miracles, the Gospels really fall apart. In fact, they make no sense. Number 3, Jesus came from a little nowhere town. Nazareth, according to archaeologists, had only 200 to 400 people. In the New Testament, it's literally a joke. 4, Jesus could learn new things. The Gospel of Luke said Jesus progressed in wisdom. That means he learned things. Otherwise, how would you progress? 5, Jesus worked and worked hard. The word used for Jesus' profession in the Gospels is tekton. Most of us are used to the translation as carpenter, but many scholars say it's more likely a kind of craftsman. Jesus as a tekton would have made doors and lampstands and plows, but he probably also made stone walls and helped with house construction. It was tough work. He worked hard. 6, Jesus had friends. Jesus wasn't just a teacher, he was a friend to people as well. As a fully human person, he needed and had friends. 7, I don't think Jesus expected everyone to understand him. The parables can be pretty obscure. He hoped that people would understand what he meant, but as many scholars agree, he didn't expect it. 8, Jesus needed time alone. The Gospels frequently speak of Jesus' need to withdraw from the crowds and even from the disciples. Even though Jesus was the Son of God, he needed time alone with the Father in prayer. Jesus needed time by himself. 9, Jesus didn't want to die. As he approaches death and prays in the Garden of Gethsemane, Jesus says, "Remove this cup from me." It's a very blunt prayer. He doesn't want to die. He doesn't court death at all. But once he realizes that this is somehow the will of God, he assents even to the cross. 10, Jesus really did rise from the dead. These days, some people say that the resurrection is really just a shared memory. In other words, Jesus didn't technically rise from the dead. What happened instead was that the disciples were gathered together after his death and talked about him a lot, so he became alive in their memory, and that memory inspired them. Sorry, that does not explain how the disciples moved from being terrified to being ready to give their lives for Christ. Only something visible, something tangible, something real could affect that kind of dramatic change, something they saw and experienced. And what they saw and experienced was Jesus Christ risen from the dead. Those are just 10 things to know about Jesus. For a lot more, I'd like to invite you to read my book, Jesus, a Pilgrimage. I hope you enjoy it. This is Father Jim Martin. God bless you.